In this episode of Free Range Sailing, we continue sailing south down the Queensland coast against the trade winds. We discuss the best way to bleed tuna, why it works, and a great recipe to cook it too.
Things are looking a little bit dark out here.
Not long after we sailed into the top of Temple Bay, a fish grabbed the troll gear and it was fighting particularly hard. As it came closer to the boat, we could see why. It had been tail wrapped and was being reeled in backwards.
Gave his head a scrape. Just then. That's the brain. See how it's a larger spot? Oh, the fin popped up. That was his brain just hitting it then. Alright, so we've heaved to do this tuna. That's going to make it a little bit safer to swing knives around, and it's also going to help where we're going to be into our arrival point a little bit early. We're trying to get into an inlet, so we need a rising tide. So I don't mind just blowing a little bit of time here. A bit more comfortable. So we're going to open up this tuna. Now, a lot of people were really interested in the tuna facts that we had before, you know, with the fins folding down and everything like a little machine. When we bleed a tuna, I recommend cutting it just along the line above its fin. And I'll show you why. It only works with tuna. They have a way of maintaining an internal body temperature, and particularly around their brain, that's slightly warmer. They're slightly warm-blooded, if you like. And they've got a reverse flow heat exchanger. Any mechanical engineers out there, and maybe that's where reverse flow heat exchangers came from, looking at tunas. But they've got blood running in a particular organ that goes along, veins and arteries right next to each other, exchanging heat back and forth. And I'll show you that when I open this tuna up and get the fillets off. It's not that easy to get through, but once we're through it, we're good. So you know when you've successfully bled your fish, when it comes time to fillet them, and no more blood's coming out. So I'm just going to open up the point of attack there for the belly. Shallow cut, try and leave the guts in place. A lot easier with that way, the guts. So with the tuna, this is where we put the cut through the skin, and what we're trying to do is grab this bit here, that bit of coloration. What that is a whole bundle, and it's running this way of veins and arteries all packed next to each other. So what happens is veins are obviously going back from the muscles to the heart, okay? And with the arteries of tuna, it's going from the heart via the gills, and then it gets oxygenated and then it goes off to the muscles. But because the blood goes through the gills and is contacting very closely with the water, it cools down. So before that oxygenated blood goes out to the muscles, it actually flows past the veins going back to the heart, which are carrying warmth from the muscles which have been doing that exercise. And so that arterial blood is actually pre-warmed before it gets back to the muscles. So that tuna is able to use that organ, as I said, to maintain its body temperature, and particularly the blood going around its eyeballs and its brain at a slightly warmer temperature. It can conserve heat, so it's a slightly warmer temperature than the surrounding water, and that gives it an advantage over the bait fish that it hunts, because everything else is just at the same, you know, they're exotherms, aren't they? They're cold-blooded animals, so everything's sort of operating at the temperature whatever the water dictates. But tuna and white sharks and a couple of other things they can conserve their body temperature through these sort of mechanisms and get a competitive advantage. I'm glad I'm warm-blooded, not cold-blooded at the moment because the rains have started. So they can get that competitive advantage and make some better predators. And that is why you put that shallow cut in the side of the tuna and you bleed it really effectively because you're getting those arteries there. It doesn't work for other fish, they don't have the same organ. But there's just one more amazing fact about tuna for you. Right, so we made it into the base of Temple Bay and you just wouldn't know that it's blowing 30 knots out there.
No.
Would you?
No.
So we've arrived about an hour and a half early. So we just need the tide to come up before we can get inside the inlet here. And wait for another weather report. So at the moment what's generating all the wind for us is a 1036 pressure high down in the bight. So just as a rule of thumb, up here in northern Australia, north of about Cairns I'd say, you just look at the last two numbers of the pressure system in the bight, so 1036 is what it is, and just sort of round it down. So it's in the 30s, so it's 30 knots. When it gets to like a 1025 or something like that, you know, it's like 20 to 25 knots. A 36, it's 30 knots. And we felt every one of it. So
It's time for some tea.
It's tea time.
I might make damper too.
And damper time.
I ended up making a scone. It's a giant scone instead of damper.
Particularly from this camera angle. It looks bigger than you.
It smells really good.
Pascale's giant scone.
So we put it in the steamer basket in the big saucepan. Well, the biggish saucepan, this one here. And we just steamed it in salt water in this.
Yeah.
With a steamer basket. And it only took like 15 minutes to cook, 20 minutes to cook.
What's the steamer basket? It's that thing it's resting on.
That's the steamer basket right there. So it's sitting on the steamer basket. Hopefully the water is hot enough for tea. Oh, not quite.
What?
I know. Well, you gotta let the scone cool just a little.
It's a scone.
Scone. The scone cool just a little. Or just try a little bit.
Just try a little bit, that's unusual.
Let me fair. Really good.
Pretty good. What's the ingredients in there, Pascale?
Self-raising flour that we bought from the store.
What?
I know. Milk powder, butter, salt, a little bit of sugar, and sultanas.
Nice.
So it's perfect from stores. We just had a little bit of butter. We have still a little bit of butter in the fridge. So.
Yeah. Why did we buy that flour? Was that for the squid? Because we didn't feel like grinding some?
No. There was a reason why we bought it. Oh, it was to catch
garfish.
Garfish. We were told by a local that if you put some water with some flour and make it into like a sticky dough but not too runny, and put it on a bit of hook, you can catch little garfish, the blue fish with the pointy nose.
And that does work if the garfish show up.
Yeah, we didn't get any garfish shots.
That's right. So we didn't want to use our hand ground flour to catch garfish.
Yeah.
So we bought some $2 flour, but now no garfish, but we do have a giant scone.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really yummy, and we've still got butter, and we've got this jar of marmalade that was given to us before when we left Fremantle, and we still got it. So
what?
We get to eat marmalade with it.
I see steam coming out of Billy.
Oh, it's tea time. Time to make tea.
Pascale's giant scone.
Time to tea. Whoa. Don't touch me, rocks cannot stand the way you tea. What, the boat's swaying? Are you for real?
Hard to believe, isn't it? We've adapted. It's...
In TI it was like much worse, so...
Yeah, and when we're actually punching into waves, we're not getting airborne, but we're doing everything but. So this is almost like standing still. You can see Pascale's overalls in the back just rocking slowly.
better than oven scones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fluffier. Steaming for the win.
I guess the whole thing with when you're baking stuff is so you get a crispy crust. But you don't really get that on scones.
No.
So
we might as well steam it.
Steaming is quicker. No.
Oh. It's alright, it's in your bowl. Oh no, you missed. Oh.
No. The bowl is too small to contain my mess.
Feeling a little bit sick right now.
Too much noms?
Too much Scone. This is our next leg.
Yeah, so we just did this big section just down here. Had a bit of rock and roll. So the next one, the wind is just coming up from the southeast. So it's a really difficult one. So what we'll do is we'll sail out to behind Gallen Reef and we'll motor sail just for about, what are we going to motor sail? Let's have a look. For about 3.8 miles, call it 4. And then we'll sail across 2.5 miles. And then in the lee of Eel Reef, we'll do another motor sail for 8 nautical miles. Otherwise, we'll have to tack 16 miles.
Yeah, no.
Right. And then we can sail into Portland Road, and that will be a total for the day of 31.4 miles. Pretty shallow, we might be doing a bit of forward driving.
Maybe we need to wait.
About a certain drop in performance.
We are full driving right now.
That's going to just clean off the bottom of the keel. It's really soft mud, the entrance to this river. It's getting deeper. We've got 10 centimetres under there now.
Instead of -10. That's just because it's like, is it at one, what is the tolerance for it? Is it 140?
Oh no, the sound is accurate.
Alright.
I got that sounder. So, 0.2. The bottom of that keel where those scabby barnacles were, they'd be gone.
The entrance to the Hunter is at chart datum.
It's
0.
at chart datum. Because we came in we pulled anchor at 1.3 metres and it's been coming up 10 centimetres every 10 minutes. It didn't take us long to get in here. So if you're coming into the Hunter River, whatever your draft is, that's what you're going to need to get in here. But we're barely even inside it and it's gone already to 2.3 metres.
So it's just that mud bar at the entrance.
Yeah. So even here we could anchor and it'd be fine, but it looks like good depth. I'd say this would be a cyclone hole.
We've had a day off from sailing today and we caught that beautiful long-tailed tuna yesterday, and what we like to do before we go on a big sail, especially because we're going hard to weather and I can't really cook while we're sailing, is pre-cook a whole lot of food. And I'm making some tuna burgers today, and what I've done already is I've minced up a whole lot of tuna meat. This mince is made up of the trimmings that we didn't want to use for sashimi, and we've also put some of that meat aside as well and cured it in the fridge, which you've seen us do before with tuna, because that's what we love to do with tuna. And we're going to make Thai style fish cakes with those sorts of flavours. And the first thing we're going to add is a bit of ginger, and this is a little trick I learned about peeling ginger, is use a teaspoon and just rub it over the skin like that and you get all the skin off. It's a really good trick, it's really quick. I've got a brown onion and 4 bird's eye chilies and the knob of ginger in here. I'm just going to food process that up and put it in with the tuna mince. Alright, it's done. Tip that in, might make me sneeze. So the other flavours we're going to add to this is we've got some lemongrass in a tube, which is thanks to our friend Raf, who stayed with Troy on the boat for a little while, and he brought this along. So I'm going to pop that in. We'd normally use fresh lemongrass, but we've got this. So.
Raffy was Pascale for a couple of days.
Without the cuddles.
Come on.
And for our salt, we'll be using fish sauce instead of salt. And I have to just put like 2 tablespoons in.
Carefully measured.
Yeah, you know, I just work with it. And also I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in, shock horror. How unhealthy. But it makes it taste better.
That's why we're both struggling with obesity.
Yeah. Maybe a tablespoon of sugar. Because with Thai cooking, you've got to get the flavors right. It's a little bit salty, a little bit sweet, a little bit sour, a bit spicy. So, you know, you've got to tick all those boxes. And I just realized saying that we should probably add some lime juice to that to add to the sourness, which is in the fridge. Ooh, made it. These limes are looking a little bit worse for wear, but I'm sure they'll be all right in the food.
That's one of the things that you get used to at sailing, is you're still going to eat some foods that on land you might think look a bit suspect.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is our lime. It's looking a bit sad. I'm sure it'll taste fine, especially in cooking.
It's enough to keep scurvy at bay.
That's right. So at this point, if I was on land and I had access to more ingredients, I would add an egg and some breadcrumbs. But we don't have egg and breadcrumbs. Because if you mix this up and make a mixture now, you'll have like quite a rubbery burger. And you want your burger not to have that rubbery texture. It's just a bit strange and it's a bit weird, isn't it, Troy?
Yeah, it is.
So I've kind of found a way of getting around it, is I just add some oats to the mixture. And that tends to just give it a bit more texture. Yeah, you know, a cup of oats, half a cup of oats. And then you just mix it all up. Someone else might have another trick for fish burgers that makes them less rubbery. Let us know.
Yeah, we're always perusing the comments for more tips.
I've made like fish cakes, and if you put potato in, that always makes them really tasty as well. But we're making burgers here, so we don't really want that potato-y in there. But yeah, we just treat this tuna mince like it's chicken, hey? Because I've made these burgers before with chicken mince. And if you've got lard or suet, then you can add that to your mince with your cooking, or you can cook in that, and it really gives it a flavour of like you're having beef or pork, doesn't it, Troy?
Yeah. This tuna has been what we've made it into roast ham.
Yeah.
Into pork.
Yeah.
It makes superior lard.
Yeah, yeah, lard, like a pork style lard, it tastes like, especially when you cook it in lard or suet. Which we've run out of at the moment. There's none of that in TI.
No.
So that's it, and then yeah, this is our mixture here, and we just shape it into burgers. It's good to like lightly oil your hands or wet them a little bit to shape the burgers. So this is really great because we can just reach into the fridge while we're sailing tomorrow if we get hungry at lunchtime and just grab a cold burger and eat it with a bit of Kewpie mayonnaise or by itself. Probably got 3 meals here, or probably 2 meals actually.
Because at the moment sailing is no small matter. It's not just...
It's really hard, and I can't do anything much but apart from hold on and help you every now and again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of...
Stay hydrated.
A lot of zero gravity situations.
So our fry pan is the lid of our camp oven. Our cast iron camp oven. It's actually the perfect size for our little stove. It's the biggest fry pan we can really fit over the burner. Just got to wait for it to get hot though, that's the thing. Okay. She's hot now, so we're going to put our first batch of burgers on. Okay, so they're smelling really good. I reckon they're going to need about 10 minutes on each side. For cooking oil, we normally use lard or suet, but we've run out. And I'm just using olive oil at the moment. But the best option if you didn't have lard or suet would probably be peanut oil. Alright, our first lot are done. They've got a really nice colour, like they've got a really nice brown colour actually. Thought they might, sometimes the tuna they go a bit grey, but the colour's really good, isn't it, Troy?
Yeah, I reckon.
I haven't filled up the olive oil, so we might just put a bit of ghee in.
Oh, that is a great idea. Nothing goes better together than fish and ghee. And it's also really great for your connoisseur popcorn.
Yeah, if you're a liveaboard and you don't have ghee, you should get yourself some ghee.
Right.
Doesn't need to be in the fridge. Doesn't burn. You gonna try one?
Yes, I am.
You can be our taster. Really good. The oats don't make it rubbery. It really makes a difference.
It's just amazing. Tuna. It can be Scotch fillet.
Yeah.
It can be chicken. It can be... this tastes like red meat.
Yeah. Yeah, it tastes like a really lean beef burger.
Oh.
But without all the fat.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really good. It's important to have a hearty breakfast before you do 50 miles, hard weather. That's what we're trying to do today. We're going to try and get into the Lockhart River from where we're at now at the Hunter Inlet.
I think it's probably important to go and put some pants on as well.
Yeah.
Whatever they say in the brochures, Rockner anchors don't go where plough anchors used to go.
We'll be building a new bow roller.
Yeah, a new bow roller. When we get into Cairns, we'll be breaking out the welder. I'm looking forward to that. Well, that backfired. We haven't got protection in the reef. All it's done is made it go south. Like, we're just smashing head on into waves.
Yeah.
I can't even make dead south. Not only did we have wind and reefs to dodge, but we had a fairly steady stream of bulk container ships to consider as well. As the day wore on, it was becoming evident we weren't going to make it to Lloyd's Bay, so we decided to stop for the night in Portland Road.
So we're off again and we're headed towards Lloyd's Bay. We had a night in Portland Roads. It was a bit rolly. It wasn't the best anchorage, not recommended, but at least it was safe. So we had a sleep there and now we're off to Lloyd's Bay and we should have a little bit of internet at Lockhart River, which would be good.
When you've got a risk of collision, or when you've got an imminent collision, both vessels are supposed to give way to starboard. Now there's not a risk of imminent collision, so there's nothing wrong with me just altering course to port a little bit to pass across his stern. So as we're closing with the boat, the yacht's on autopilot, so it sort of veers a bit, but whenever it says 85 on my compass, on the steering compass, I'll take a bearing with the hand bearing compass on the bow of that ship, and happily it's decreasing. It was north, and now it's just coming around to east. So he's going faster than we are, so he'll go in front. Alright, well, collision avoided, which is a good thing because we wouldn't come off, well, we definitely come off second best, which is not best at all. So in that situation, we're a sailing vessel and he was approaching from our port side. So in theory we had right of way, but might is definitely right and he was a mighty ship. Those things can't really take avoiding action, so just don't push your whole right of way thing when it comes to shipping lanes if you're in a little yacht. And I really didn't mind just throwing an extra tack in, giving that guy peace of mind. I know what it's like to be on the bridge and watching some little sailing boat just do crazy things in front of you. Yeah, so just bought ourselves a little bit of time and then altered course to port just across his stern, and we passed, well, we still passed very close. In terms of shipping, it was within 3/4 of a mile, and that's a close call, you know. But with a manoeuvrable little yacht like us, it's not that bad. So all went pretty well.
Good work, Troy.
Thanks. So we're just rounding Restoration Island here, and it's called Restoration Island because Captain Bligh, who was the guy from the mutiny on the Bounty, or he's the skipper of the Bounty, when they cast him adrift over there in Tahiti, in an open boat, he made it all the way over here, found a gap, Bligh's entrance, through the barrier reef, and when he got back here to Restoration Island, he was able to restore himself. And then he continued on from here up the barrier reef to Java or Indonesia to get help, all in an open boat and all navigating pretty much from memory and taking star shots and stuff. So he might have been an unpleasant skipper, but he was a brilliant man. We're just starting to get a little bit of shelter now from the bottom of Lloyd's Bay.
How fast are we going?
6.5 knots, tells the story. Oh, we just eased off then.
Going down to 5 or something, have we?
5.5.
We continued sailing to the southern end of Lloyd's Bay, anchoring in the Lockhart River.
So we both look a little bit bedraggled because it's been a hard few days. So we're just sitting down to have some lunch. Let's have a look.
Lunchtime, late lunch.
This looks like a global antipasto.
Yeah, it's put everything that was left in the fridge on a plate.
Yeah.
Chickpeas, beetroot salad, hummus, some sun-drieds, tuna burger, a few carrot sticks.
Sun-dried tomatoes. Because it's been pretty hectic lately, hasn't it? So
yeah. It's actually yummy.
That's very delicious.
That's nice colours too,
yeah.
As you said before.
Cool.
Thank you for tuning into Free Range Sailing. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, as it really helps get our video out to more viewers. If you'd like to keep track of us in real time, there is links in the description to our Facebook and Instagram page, as well as loads of other great information that you might find useful. Also, we'd love to hear your feedback and questions, so head on over to the comments section and drop us a line.